Hey there, welcome to Monday Night Poetry. So today I want to move away from the English Romantic poets and go a little into the European Romantic poets. So the first poet I want to look into in that world, her name is Maria Rosalía de Castro, but she's better known as Rosalía De Castro. So a little bit about her. She was a Galician poet. Galicia is a autonomous community under Spanish law. It's a historical nationality. So she's a Galician poet and novelist. She was born in 1837. She was an important figure of the Galician Romantic movement. She was first published in 1863 on May 17th, and this day is, to this day, that date is to this day, a commemorative day about her contribution to Galician literature. So, much like the Romantic English poets, the English Romantic poets, her work was concerned with women's rights, the downtrodden of society, and political criticism, and often with themes of nature. So a lot of overlap there between her English contemporaries, she died in 1885. And to this day, she is considered a important figure, a poet laureate of Galicia, and remembered for her commitment to the language, because at that time it was actually well-educated and prominent literary figures were expected to write in Spanish, and she remained loyal to her Galician language, which is sort of like a dialect outside of Spanish that was a little bit looked down on in society, in Spanish polite society. But anyway, so yeah, she's a really interesting figure in that way. So the first poem of hers I want to read is called The Carillon, which is translated in some translations to The Bell. This particular poem I'm going to read is translated from the original by Garrett Strange. I love them, and I hearken, as the winds their notes prolong, like the murmur of a fountain, like a lambskin's distant song, like the birds serenely winging on their way across the skies, at the break of daylight soaring, to salute it with their cries, and their voices saying ever o'er the plain and mountain peak, something that is frank and candid, that a soothing charm would speak. Would their voices cease forever? What a sorrow for their air! What a silence in their belfries, and the dead, how strangely bare! The last poem I want to read is actually a more famous poem of hers called Margarita. It translated to the daisy flower in this version that I found. But it's better known as Margarita. Silence the hounds of the damn pack. Do not wake the implacable beast who sleeps silently in his lair. Can't you see that from its claws hang glory and honor, rest and happiness? The hounds continued howling, the evil homicidal thoughts, and they woke up the fearsome beast, the passion that fell asleep in the soul. And goodbye in a moment, goodbye glory and honor, rest and happiness. The father sleeps while she in the light of the night lamp behold the noble and manly countenance that a heavy sleep overwhelms. Under that sad forehead that sorrow clouds, grim visions must come and go. Black daughters of doubt, she trembles, falters, and shudders. Of fear perhaps, or of pain and anguish, with an expression of infinite pity. I don't know what prayers he murmurs. Prayer perhaps holy, perhaps impious. Trembling, the lip, in spite of himself, pronounces, while within the soul, the countenance against the passions he fights. Rough and terrible battle, waged before the victim who changes, sleeps the restless sleep of the sad, to whom fortune has turned her face. And he is still at rest, and she who leaves the room in mists of the night is lost, and returns at dawn, the veil worn, in her gaze the anguish. Flesh, temptation, devil, oh, which of you is to blame? Silence. The sleepy day dawns for the distant heights, and the old man awake. She smiling, both hide their sorrow and pretend to surrender, indifferent to the toils of his dark life. The guilty kept silent, but the crime spoke. The old man died, and she, the foolish one, he kept burning incense in his madness of awkwardness before the black altars, until, rolling in the deep abyss, faithful to her evil of her slave pain, oh, when he loved good, how could he to betray his spotless virtue, squander the riches of his spirit, sell your body, damn your soul? It is that in the middle of this corrupt glass, where his burning thirst quenched of an immortal love, the slight atoms, unstained, they floated in the atmosphere. Thirsty sands on the beach, they feel the burning kisses of the sun, and not far, the waves always fresh. They roll slowly, murmuring, poor sands, my luck image. I don't know what happened to me when I look at you. Well, like me, you suffer, dry and dumb, the endless torture of Tantalus. But who knows, maybe it will shine one day, in which saving mysterious limits advance the sea, and until you arrive, to quench your unquenchable thirst. And who also knows if after so many centuries of anxieties and impossible desires, the burning soul will finally quench its thirst, where the seraphim drink their love. And that is Margarita by Rosalía De Castro. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching, and squeaky chair. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.